that.
Yeah.
Doing the person was used to absorb the thinking and it wasn't about.
Half of the time, I don't listen to people when they talk during meditations anyway. I just go off on my own little thing.
The majority of people do that anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know, the very few people really hear me out there when I say that. But really don't. All you have to do is 2 minutes, just say, take a deep breath, and then let it loose again.
Right.
So,
There you go.
30 seconds.
30. 30 seconds if you're Irish. 30 if you're not Irish. Who's Irish? All right, it's 30 for you guys. It's 30 for everybody else. And it is usually the longest 30 seconds.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Good morning, everyone. How is everybody dealing with this unbearable heat? Oh my gosh. I read an article the other day. I don't know if any of you have read the article, but there's an artist that was going around doing national monuments everywhere made out of wax. And the Lincoln Memorial one in Washington, D.C. melted. His head fell off. I thought, my word. Okay, so on behalf of the co-pastors and the Board of Trustees, we welcome you to the Colby Memorial Temple for our services. And my name is Jamie Osmond, by the way. To beginning our service, Betsy and Tomas will light 3 candles symbolizing the unity of body, mind, and spirit. Tomas is so precious. Oh, we love kids. I gotta watch this. Good job. Yeah. Is there anything more precious? Please rise for opening prayer and remain standing for our first hymn. Infinite intelligence, we say thank you so much for this beautiful day and this beautiful gathering of souls. We ask that the messages and the words and the thoughts that come through today are for the highest and best and help all of us on our journey forward in this life that we live. We ask this in all gratitude and honesty in your precious name. Amen. Our first hymn will be led by me, and it is 159, Open My Eyes. Open my eyes that I may see glimpses of truth thou hast for me. Place in my hands the wonderful key that shall unclasp and set me free. Silently now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my eyes, illumine me, Spirit divine. Open my ears that I may hear voices of truth thou sendest clear. And while the wave notes fall on my ear, everything false will disappear. Silently now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my ears, illumine me, Spirit divine. Open my mouth and let me bear gladly the warm truth everywhere. Open my heart and let me prepare love with thy children thus to share. Silently now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my heart, illumine me, Spirit divine. Thank you. You may be seated. Located on the handout in the front cover of your hymnal are our Declaration of Principles. Please join me in reciting these principles together. We believe in infinite intelligence. We believe that the phenomena of nature, both physical and spiritual, are the expression of infinite intelligence. We affirm that a correct understanding of such expression and living in accordance therewith constitute true religion. We affirm that the existence and personal identity of the individual continue after the change called death. We affirm that the communication with the so-called dead is a fact, scientifically proven by the phenomenon of spiritualism. We believe that the highest morality is contained in the golden rule. Whatsoever ye would that others should do unto you, do ye also unto them. We affirm the moral responsibility of the individual and that he makes his own happiness or unhappiness as he obeys or disobeys nature's physical and spiritual laws. We affirm that the doorway to reformation is never closed against any human soul here or hereafter. We affirm that the precepts of prophecy and healing contained in the Bible are divine attributes proven through mediumship. The healing prayer is located in the back of your hymnal. Please recite with me the prayer for spiritual healing. I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstructions from my mind and body and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask this great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help and to restore them to perfect health. I put my trust in the love and the power of God. Now, for those of you who wish to receive a spiritual healing, please take a seat along the wall, either side, and go to the next available healer. While the healers work, the rest of us will join in a guided meditation. Oh, you do. Just pick one. In the silence and the stillness, let your awareness sweep through your body and just notice if there's any obvious areas of tightness, of tension. Sense wants to let go of it a little right now. You may sense a little bit of loosening or softening around the shoulders. Perhaps a melting or a dissolving sensation inside of the shoulders. Perhaps a softening of the hands. Let there be an openness to the chest. Maybe a softening at the belly and relaxing as you go down. Just be aware of the sense of the pressure and the warmth. And if you could feel your whole body from the inside, just sensing the tingling and the vibration, the heat or the cool, just let everything that you feel play out as it is. Include into your awareness the sounds in the room, the appearing and the disappearing of words, and the spaces between the sounds. Listening not just with your ears, but with your whole awareness. Letting sounds wash through. Noticing with listening that there's nothing to do. Sense the edgeless space that all the sounds are appearing in. Just relaxing into that openness, that's listening. There's a listening to and a feeling of the whole changing flow from moment to moment. Feel that. Feel it coming in. Feel it coming out with every breath. It's quite natural for the attention to contract and go inside of thoughts. When that happens, when you notice that you are thinking about other things, just go, oh, okay, inside a virtual reality. And then pause and reopen the attention and begin listening again to the sounds you actually hear instead of the thoughts rolling through your mind. Feel the warmth. Feel the warmth coming in through your heart chakra. Feel the abundance of love that you have for yourself, for the people beside you, in front of you, behind you, and radiating that out to everybody in the entire universe. It's desperately needed. We have the power within us to love, to change things, to move forward in positive ways. All that is within us. I'm going to leave you a couple of minutes to feel your power, to listen to what you have to say to yourself. All in silence. If some strong emotion does arise, fear or sorrow, listen to that. And with the same receptivity as you might listen to sound, until it no longer calls attention, resting again in the openness and the silence. In your meditation, you can begin afresh at any time you like, if you feel you need to. Just by simply noticing where the attention is and choosing to arrive at that peace again. Bringing that friendliness and interest right back to the center. Opening your attention back to this listening to the sounds that are appearing and disappearing from moment to moment. Relaxing in your same body some. Listening to and feeling each passing moment. The intimacy of listening to and feeling the light that's right here. Offering whatever prayer or blessing, a wish of well-being to your own heart. Whatever most resonates at this moment. Bringing to mind a dear one so that you're listening to and feeling that person, that being, their energy, offering whatever prayer or whatever blessing or wish may resonate while you sit in the silence with this loved one and enjoy a moment. In these last few moments, exchange something special with your loved one. Embrace them, knowing that they are always here for you. Anytime you need them, just call on them. And as you slowly bid them farewell, start to bring your attention back to your heart center. Back to where you are right now. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Slowly open your eyes. Stretch if you need to. And be back now and here in the present. That's good. Okay, how was that? All right, where am I at? If you have received a healing resulting in a correction or improvement, please complete the yellow card. Do I have a yellow card? I do. This is what it looks like. This would be in your hymnal. And you can give it to the pastor in the back, or you can also mail it to us, or you can even put it in the offering plate. We'd like to thank our healers for sharing their gift of healing. From my left to my right, they are Jackie Arnold, Cynthia Preston, Darlene McCormick, Robin Matatino, Daryl Demerit, Lori Carter, and Coquette Cruz, who is now back up here. We pull double duty sometimes. Please stand for our next hymn, number 9, I Love to Tell the Story. I'd love to tell the story. See things of angels and the glory of angels and the that's my dream. I love to tell the story of angels and the Lord. I love to tell the story of the golden things that all the seas of that is just the secret. I love to tell the story of angels. I love to tell the story to know it best. Before the being of the sea, to the old story that I to know. I love to tell the story of angels and love. Thank you. You may be seated. So I have the wonderful honor of introducing our guest lecturer today. I spoke with her a couple of minutes before the service, and this is what we decided we were going to say. She first spoke here in 1975. I'm not going to do the math because that'll just be scary. But, she loves chocolate. She's partial to puppies and kittens. And occasionally in her readings, she's sometimes right. So please help me in welcoming to the platform Reverend Diane Davis.
Good morning. For those of you who've not heard me speak before, please come back. I wanted to thank a young woman named Star. I don't know what occurs for her in her life, but when I was in the 7th grade, way back there, I lived right at the joining of Phoenix and Scottsdale, Arizona. Our elementary school was 1st grade through 8th grade, and in 7th grade, we gave speeches. And Star was in the same grade as me. And so she gave a talk that to this day I use from time to time, and we're going to use it today. Because I was noticing that it felt like, to sound mystical, that the energy or the adventuresome of life in the last 2 weeks has been upside down, backwards, and crazy. So I don't know if any of you have gone through that or not, feeling kind of like things were twirling around you or with you. And it doesn't mean it's a terrible thing, it was just a thing. Dar's talk was about spaghetti. So And it may be just because I'm hungry. But I wanted to talk about spaghetti. Because, and I've done this before, because I felt like we all needed a laugh. We all needed some joy, and we all need hope. And wonderful thing about spiritualism, it provides, well, I don't know about the laughter, because you have to have a sense of humor in order to do that in the first place. But we have some people that, well, no, it's not you. So, but anyway, what I want to ask you is, and you don't have to get up and move, but we do have 3 sections here. So on another day, it would be really fun to have 3 separate sections, because we're going to talk today about the slurpers and the slicers and the twirlers on spaghetti. Now, I know that some of you, this may be your first time. That's why I encourage you to come back. Somebody may be more serious up here. But I've been involved in spiritualism for a lot of years, and I have embraced a lot within it, and I still do. So one thing that we do is we talk about the golden rule. We talk about doing unto others. We talk about life after death. We talk about the infinite a lot, and I do, because that infinite resides within you no matter what, no matter where, no matter how, no matter anything in your life, what you have said, what you have done, where you have lived, what you have been, it doesn't matter. What matters is how you pay attention and how you participate with the you that is you. So when we have slurpers, slicers, and twirlers, one thing that's interesting about that, and you can be a person that doesn't like spaghetti, and that's okay too, because all of those choices are valid in our society. I remember when I was very little, trying to slurp. I don't know about any of you, but there was more than likely a parent sitting by you, cautioning you not to do that because you were going to get spaghetti sauce on your clothes. And so you grow up not slurping because you've been told that it's not a good idea. That wasn't you? Oh, slurpers are over here. Sorry, that was you? So what happens with slicers? Slicers, I'm a slicer. I tried twirling, but sometimes I would end up with this glob of stuff all over the spoon, and I didn't know how I got it there. And then if you're working with a large spoon to twirl in, sometimes you can put one more piece of spaghetti in there and you end up with a softball. You don't do that? Well, so I wanted to talk a little bit about your participation in your life. Is that no matter what choice you made, if you want to be a slurper, a slicer, or a twirler, it doesn't really matter. If you don't like spaghetti, it doesn't really matter. And if Thomas doesn't want to be quiet, it doesn't really matter. He can't compete with me. I have the microphone. It's okay. So what I want to mention, oh, bye-bye. What I want to mention is all of your life, you have made choices and decisions. And those were based upon the best information you had at the time that you made the choice or the decision. They're not today when you can look back on it and you can say, I should have. They are not today when you say, I could have. They are not today when you're looking back and saying, you know, if I had done it differently, I would have this, that, and the other thing. You're right here, right now. And do you realize that if you had done those things, gone those places, had those relationships, did those particular jobs, had more money, whatever, is that you wouldn't be sitting where you are today. And this is just fine. Because today you are the best version of you. You have amassed all kinds of accomplishments, and they may have been very tiny ones to somebody else, but big ones to you. The very first time I helped somebody pound bricks in sand on the desert to make a walkway, that was a first, because I grew up in a setting where we didn't get to do that kind of thing, but I helped somebody do that. That was an amazing adventure. And part of the adventure went goofy, because you know what I did? Because I wasn't very big. Believe it or not, once upon a time I was petite. I think I was 3. Anyway, but I was holding the brick and the hammer, and I looked up at a dog. Her name was Spopa. She was a standard brown chocolate poodle. She was a love and just really, really goofy. And so in looking up at her and then swinging the hammer, thinking I would be hitting the brick, guess what was in the way? But you know what? It was an experience, and I discovered and I learned, and it didn't keep me from pounding a brick again. How many experiences in your life have you had where you discovered something, and what I discovered was pay attention to what you're doing. Participation is the key for life. It doesn't matter for some people because they will let life make their choices. It doesn't matter for some people because they will propel through life based upon what they've learned and discovered in the early years of their existence. That isn't right, wrong, good, or bad, but it has an influence. How many of us are influenced by the people that we grew up around and what we heard, what we accepted, what we lived, and also what we were told? One question that I think is sometimes rather cruel, and yet it is a prominent one in our society, is asking a little person, do they know what they want to do when they grow up? How many times I was asked that? How many times I was asked that? And the majority of little people, they may have an inkling that they want to be a dancer, fighter, or a law enforcement person, or a doctor, or a nurse, or a this or a that. But really, at that age. And so all of us have had those kinds of questions. Were they said to you maliciously? No. Were they something that was so different from what should have been said? No. They are something in society that is often a point of conversation or a point of interaction, and that's what participation is all about. Some of you are mediums practicing your work and your skill. Some of you are discovering that, and some of you are fascinated and curious about mediumship, psychic abilities, and intuition. Some of you have experienced healing today, and it has a lot to do with the energetic capability, not only of the person that may have done the laying on of hands, as we term it, with you, or even the healing energies in this room at this time, and those that have been here for a very, very long time. You are influenced constantly by the things that you're surrounded with, the things that you're interacting with, and it doesn't mean that you have to have participation. Some of you want relationships, and those relationships, you allow them just to be whatever they are, and there's a graciousness in that. And then some of those relationships, sometimes you let that other person dictate whether they want it or not. And then that takes it out of any sense of cooperation with you, but yet it is a place within you where you need to know them. That occurs. So there are a lot of places of participation where we have choice. And some of those choices are not grand. They don't influence somebody else. Some of those choices are big ones. I've moved to the West Coast of the United States 3 times in my life. And those weren't propelled by somebody else. There were places within me that said, I've got to go. And I did. There's a place within anybody that feels compelled or drawn to do things. So why do you slurp? Why do you slice? Or why do you twirl? Or did you give up spaghetti because it was messy? You know, I want to tell you a little story. Years ago, I took care of my oldest nephew for a very short time. And this was when I went back out to Phoenix years after I had moved to Florida. And he was about 2.5 or 3 years old. So he had a little colored table, you know, the little tables where you have to kind of crawl on your knees as an adult to sit in the chair, those. So now I'm down on the floor and I'm in this wadded up position because I weighed a little bit more. So a chunky person was sitting in that chair. And I had purchased some finger paints because I was trying to figure out how to keep him involved and humored and participating in life. So we undid the jar top for the green. And the green was this luscious emerald green. It was really beautiful. And the jar was big. It was like one of those ones for body scrubs that they have now. It's about that size. And so Jimmy, he had his little bit of water there, and we got the paper out, and I thought, this is great. And I was ready. Yeah. Okay. So Jim put his little finger in the paint and he went like this and then looked at me and said, Aunt Diane, can we stop now? And I was over here having a wonderful time. And I looked at him and I said, okay. And so we stopped. And that was the way he played a lot as a little person. Was that wrong? No. But how many times did you experience something where you kind of forced it or pressured it to make it happen and make it be? So discovering how to slurp. I am not a real neat slurper, especially now. There were years I was able to, I had a symmetrical face for a while. So there were times I could slurp because other people at the table were doing it, but we weren't wearing bibs. I thought the bibs we got to eat lobster were wonderful. So I was wondering why they didn't hand them out when we were eating spaghetti. But anyway, so here we are and we're slurping. Now, all of you, I just want you to try to slurp. Not in the room right now, it's okay. But And those of you, I want to encourage you, even if you don't normally, when you eat spaghetti, slice, the next time, try slicing. Just slice. And it can be whatever size you want it to be. And those of you over here, I think that you're going to have the biggest responsibility to twirl. And twirling is rather creative. And if you don't know how to do it, perhaps you can take someone for a spaghetti dinner who does this regularly and eats. I happen to live and have a roommate years and years ago who was from Sicily, and her family were Sicilian. And there was all kinds of things that would happen on those Sunday dinners that went on and on for 4 hours. And anyway, and so you learn to twirl. Your participation in your life at this time is incredibly significant. We are at a time in our humanity where people fight with each other, people want to hurt each other, people want to find out what's wrong, people want to claim this is wrong, that's wrong, this is that. What I want you to know is you have within you this wonderful place. And it's that place that Jamie spoke of in healing. And it's that place within you that is always going to be okay no matter what, no matter where, no matter how. It may not be what you intended, it may not be what you had planned, but you're here. And you're here right now. And if you had done some of those other things, you wouldn't be here today. You wouldn't be here today for me to practice doing what I love to do, and that's speaking to you. And you wouldn't be here to perhaps be with a friend or family member or to enjoy a hymn or a moment of healing and quiet. You may not have been here. I just think it's amazing the choices that we make and the choices that are available. And so when you think your life is propelled because of other circumstances, when you think you have to do something because somebody told you to do it, that may be true. But what I would encourage is that you look at how you want to participate, because anytime you participate in life, there's a payoff. And the payoff of participating happens to be that you gain something. It doesn't mean it's necessarily financially beneficial. It means that there's something within you that has meaning and substance. We are an amazing humanity, and we have this wonderful capability to assimilate and to understand and to know. There is this wonderful thing that occurs with healing, because your body is energetically dancing and moving constantly. You're breathing and blinking. You're here, you're having these moments. You may have issues physically, and yet those issues may or may not be life-threatening. They may not. What you do get to discover is what's yours. What's yours? One of the incredible parts is that life has opportunity for each of us, and it's out in front, because tied to each of us, and not necessarily literally, because that would get cumbersome, but in front of you when you were born, there were a gazillion, an infinite number of potentials and possibilities for life expectancy, life enhancement, life improvement, life progression, just for you. Were they predestined? Not necessarily, but they are out there, and some of them still exist because all of you have a future, whether it's another 10 minutes or another 10 years or another 100 years. It doesn't matter. What you do have is you have life. And in life, you have choice because you can slurp, because you can slice, because you can twirl. And if you have a physical limitation to do one of those things, do something else. I broke my left wrist. I dropped to the floor and did a magnificent experience. Was it at that point? Well, not really, but whatever. But even to this day, I can't slice as easily as I would like to. Guess what? You can get a rocker knife. And a rocker knife does this. So that if you can't hold it as well as you would like, the knife will help you cut. That's just one invention that came out of a person's mind and heart. That is one invention that somebody felt inspired with. Somebody participated with their life, and whatever their limitation, or if they observe somebody else having a big one, it's stimulated. Did you know that Weber created barbecues because he needed to feed his family? Not because he felt like he was having a wonderful session grilling. There's all kinds of people and all kinds of yous. And you're the best you in this moment that you've ever been. The hard part is a lot of people don't accept that because they're still thinking they ought to twirl when all they are able to do is slurp. But none of those choices are limited, and none of those choices are wrong. And all of those choices have their meaning for people who like to eat spaghetti that way. And as I mentioned, even if you don't like to eat spaghetti, you're making choices every day for your life where you can add to you and you can have a perception of what you're doing. And when you're doing that, be open to taking along the rest of the world with you. We're all in this for us, you know. Reverend Deb Ganberg in the back spoke with me when I came in today because I came in about 18 minutes after. She was concerned that I wasn't going to be here. She was a little worried she'd have to be an inspirational speaker. I've just had a lot of practice and I have a lot to say. But I told her that I stayed home because before I come, I try to listen to Donna Summer sing Hot Stuff. For some reason, it always gets a lot of laughter. But it was the second song that I like to listen to, and it's We Are the World, and it's the original rendition. Because we are, and we're all in this together. No matter what you go through, be gentle with you, give yourself a chance. And I just want to leave you with a tidbit of information. Yesterday was National Fried Chicken Day. It really was. It was on the computer. You know how you can believe everything you read? Well, they had coupons at Burger King and Kentucky Fried Chicken that they call KFC. There's lots of initials out there now. And I noticed that when I plugged into that information, that I suddenly, even though I hadn't had fried chicken in years, I suddenly wanted some. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Now I want chicken. Ay. Gotta get my band ready here. So by the way, Diane, I'm a twirler, just so you know. I'm a twirler. I like to twirl. During our music interlude, we will be passing the basket, and we thank you in advance for your generosity. Our musical interlude will be presented by me. When the best of me is barely breathing, when I'm not somebody I believe in, hold on to me. When I miss the light the night has stolen, after slamming all the doors you've opened, hold on to me. Hold on to me. Hold on to me when it's too dark to see you. When I am sure I have reached the end. Hold on to me when I forget I need you. When I let go, hold me again. When I don't feel like I'm worth defending. When I'm tired of all of my pretending, hold on to me. When I start to break in desperation, underneath the weight of expectation, hold on to me. Hold on to me. Hold on to me when it's too dark to see you. When I am sure I have reached the end. Hold on to me when I forget I need you. When I let go, hold me again. I could rest here in your arms forever, 'cause I know nobody loves me better. Hold on to me. Hold on to me. Thank you, Spirit. Yeah. Thank you. You know, you could use that for Spirit, or you could use that for yourself. Either way it goes, right? Yes. Oh. Thank you. Thank you. I have Spirit to thank for that. They always work for me. Thank you. Okay. If we can take an attitude of prayer so we can say a blessing for the offering. Infinite intelligence, thank you so much for the generosity of those who have given today. We ask that you guide us in using the funds for the best and the highest of the camp, and for furthering everything that we have to do here, and for reaching out to the public. Amen. All right, announcements. Next Wednesday, July 10th, our message bearer will be our students and our alumni. This is always a fun night. It's always insightful. So come out and get a little spirit greeting that night, and a healing. They do healing then too also. Next Sunday, July 14th, our guest speaker at our 10:30 service will be Coquette Cruz. And during the service, this is special, we will have a ceremony for Coquette because she is becoming a certified medium here. Yes. Another one. We need as many as we can get. So we are definitely excited for that. And there's cake. Gotta have cake. Huh? And oh, she's gonna be a healer too. Oh, that wasn't noted in there. She's double dipping. Yes. Thank you, Sheldon. Every Sunday, we have Adult Lyceum, also known as Adult Sunday School, from 9:30 to 10:15 in the Andrew Jackson Davis Building. Do we know who? Oh, there it is. Next Sunday, July 14th, our Lyceum speaker will be Reverend Dr. Sheldon Ganberg, PhD. Upcoming events today at 2 o'clock in the back of the bookstore, we will have a workshop titled Beginning Spirit and Mediumship Development with Reverend Dr. Lewis Gates. The cost for that is $35, $37 if you're paying by credit card, or $35 by cash, and you can hop in at the bookstore. You'll see me there. I'm everywhere. Saturday, July 13th, we will have natural law at 1:30 with Reverend Diane Davis. She's our natural law guru around here. Always a great time, so if you can come out for that, it is $35 for SCSEMA members and $40 for the general public. That is also available on Zoom. Saturday, July 13th, we will also have 2 views with Lori Carter and Sydney. This is a message service from 5 to 6:30 p.m. in the back of the bookstore for a $5 donation. So come out for that too. Another wonderful message service here. To participate in absentee healing, please print the name and first initial of the last name of a loved one, friend, or even a pet in our healing book, which is located in the back left corner of the temple. Every Thursday morning, we have our healing meditation at 11 a.m. in the Andrew Jackson Davis Building, or the bookstore, as we call it, where all the names on the healing list are held in prayer, and all are welcome to attend, as it is also live streamed on Facebook. So you can attend in person, or you can join us via Facebook. We have a new July activities calendar and a church bulletin in your hymnal for you to take home or to give a friend. And they look like this. Our website, casadega.org, also has our monthly information as well as the upcoming events, and we have a lot of exciting stuff coming up. Okay, so I think for time purposes, we're just going to skip to the messages. What do you think? Think it's a good idea? I think it's a good idea. All right, so we're going to ask Reverend Diane Davis to come back up and to offer a couple of messages. You want the message? Yeah. You want the microphone or you want it? Okay, let me sit. It won't fall. It'll be okay.
It did.
It'll be all right.
Your tablet started coming at me.
Okay, so what's the message?
It was, go home. No, I don't think I got that message right. Does anybody want one? Jackie, your hand goes up every time I ask that question. Jackie, it's gonna sound like I know everything about you though, because I just called you by your name. So I'm gonna call you Zelda Gertrude. In all fairness, one thing I want to tell you is there's a man that I feel has passed away, and it was a little while ago. This is not a recent passing. And one thing I saw him do was he turned the pages of a photo album. And I felt that there was some interaction with you in the earlier years of your life. And that he would not have been the person to maintain the photo album. But periodically, he would have liked to look at it. And not only that, but because of his time also in military, I feel as though that wasn't necessarily in the photo album, but it was in his memory a great deal of wearing a uniform. There's a feeling as I speak with you today that during the latter part of February, early part of March of 2025, there's a fork in the road, and you're going to be ready to take it. Hot dog. Oh, I know what that is, and you don't. No, I really don't know what it is, but Jackie, oh wait, Zelda Gertrude. Anyway, what I want to mention is when you get to that fork in the road experience or that time period, don't be afraid to take it. Because of the fact that you're gonna be okay, you've been shown you're gonna be okay, but you're still kind of holding on here to things because you're looking at the security, you're looking, and those are not irresponsible things you're doing, so don't hear that. It's just the fact that I think you're really ready to move on to another phase of your life. There's going to be a time, I'm going to do a prediction here with you, and there's people in this room that are going to hear it so they can hold you to it, even if I'm gone, and I mean that. Is there will be a time that you're teaching. And when you do, there's going to be a lot of fulfillment in that with you, with your work. And I feel that it will be a time not only of accuracy, but it will be a time of what I call heart. Because we have educators who spout it, and then we have teachers who teach, and you're a teacher. And I'm glad you raised your hand so I could pick on you, even if I'm not really clear what your name is. Okay, I want to go over, I don't know where I want to go. I'm only supposed to do a few of these, but you know what? I could work all day, just as long as the podium up here would prop me up and the tablet wouldn't chase me off. The gentleman in the striped shirt, you're not going to have any problem distinguishing you from somebody else in a striped shirt today. I don't think. There's papers in front of you, and I want to tell you that around late August, early September this year, there's going to be opportunity to put your signature on. If you're not literally doing that, because I am archaic and there's so many things that are done electronically now, is that it means an agreement. It is not litigation. It is not a problem. It is an advancement. And it feels to me that it's almost time to move forward in life. And you've been holding back for the last 2.5 years, waiting, you understand? And I want to say, yeah, okay. So feels to me that as you go into the latter part of this summer, that August time period and early September, that's a time period also that you're going to feel much more emotionally okay to keep going further. Now, that just means your confidence, your sense of self-value and understanding are going to be greater because of the facts and because of the knowledge that you gain between now and then. Don't be reluctant to get some further training or schooling, even if it's on the job or self-taught, okay? And I want to tell you that I feel you're connected to the northeastern part of the United States. Do you live there? You grew up there? Yeah, well, okay, well, the Northeast for you still has meaning. So other people might want to keep you where you are, but there's a feeling that in these next several months, if you have opportunity to participate there regularly, or even if it's just connected to friends, well, I shouldn't say just, but if it's connected to friends or family or even business, have it, because it just feels productive for you. And one other thing before I need to quit talking to you, because people get really upset if I go on and on and on and on. And I'm like chatty Cathy with stuff, so I have to be careful of on and on and on and on. But one thing I want to mention is there's a woman who has passed away connected to you. And I want to mention something about her, is that she would make, and I'm going to tell you what it reminds me of. It reminds me of cherry pie or strawberry jam. I have to say it that way because I can see the bits of fruit in it and the red. Did anybody hear me mention that I was hungry? But I feel with her a special affection for you. And I also want to ask, was she connected to you, the gentleman next to you? You think so? Well, I would hope so, because I felt like she, for you, sir, would have reached over and kissed your cheek to let you know she was there. And I'm going to leave that because it just feels like whatever she would produce and make in foods a lot, it was her way of loving and caring. And thank you for being here today. Can I do one more?
One more.
One more? They're so controlling. Okay, you laughed at my joke. You put your hand up. Well, what, you're surprised now? It's okay, you can be surprised. I really am attracted to the flower in your hair. I never wore flowers in my hair, but my hair was long at one time, and I realized how, oh, that would have been a look. Anyway, you look lovely. I hope you're going someplace special when you leave here too, but if you dressed for us, thank you for the special, anyway. Those of you who dress down, I'm not commenting. One thing I would want to mention to you is get going. And it feels to me that since last fall, like September, early October, you have been holding back. You've been waiting, and you think you're going to wait for somebody to hand it to you, and it's not going to be that way. You understand this? And it's going to be time to open the door, just get going. And I feel you'll be able to do that. And the way you'll be able to do that is because there's another woman who is like a supervisor, administrator, manager, authority figure, so to speak, in a professional capacity that I feel is giving you encouragement and acknowledging your skills, your knowledge, and your information. You also have a connection with the Carolinas, Tennessee. There's a sense within these next couple of months that you have opportunity to go there for some schooling or training, even if it's self-taught, something fun, do it, because you're at a time when you're learning about you and you're learning about what you have to provide in life. And it doesn't mean you didn't know about this before, but your confidence about what you're doing and providing now has altered, and that's going to continue to pick up momentum. It's going to also be something where those of us sitting here in this room at this time have knowledge of you, your name, your skills, something here within the next year and a half. You understand this? Okay, you need to get her autograph now, and maybe worse something later. But I want to commend you because you have waited and hoped, and you have turned the corner about 2.5 years ago. But you have another one that you'll turn, not in the same way as what went on, but you have another one to turn yet. And that's going to be focusing you toward, because there's a metropolis like Chicago that I feel is going to have meaning that you're in and out of. So I don't feel you're living there in the future, but I do feel that you participate there a great deal. And thank you so much. And I am so grateful that all of you laughed at my, well, not everybody. There were a few of you that were scowling. But I really mean that, because today when I came, I thought what we need is laughter and joy. Thank you for making it happen.
Thank you, Diane. We would like to remind everybody that our afternoon message service will be from 12 to 12:30 here in the temple. A group of mediums and student mediums will be giving spirit greetings to as many individuals as they can reach during this message service, and everyone is welcome. We encourage you to visit our bookstore, which is open from 11:30 to 5 p.m. today and open Monday through Saturdays at 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Please rise for our closing hymn, number 203, Let There Be Peace on Earth.
All right, you're on.
And let me be on earth, and let it begin with me. Let peace be clear, and peace be global.
Thank you. Before I say the prayer, I just want to say, and I don't mean to keep calling you guys out, but thank you so much for Tomas and your beautiful family. I have always been raised with the belief that a church service should have children's voices in it and babies crying. So thank you so very much for that. It was a beautiful sound. Infinite Intelligence, thank you so much for this beautiful gathering once again. May you stay with us as always as we go about our day, and may we touch people in the brightest light possible. Thank you and amen. Have a great day, guys, everybody. Bye-bye.
You did pretty well. Are you doing this? Not yet.